Hey guys, this is Nirupam with the Underwater Photography Guide and Blue Water Photo. Now, today I have a new underwater strobe for you. This is an upgrade to the CNC YS-D3 Mark II. This here is the CNC YS-D3 Duo. Now, this strobe is equipped with an RC TTL mode for Olympus cameras. So if you have an Olympus camera, it's a pretty exciting upgrade, but I'm going to start out this review by saying if you have a current CNC YS-D3 strobe, chances are you probably won't need to upgrade that strobe unless you are interested in better TTL, because there are a few differences with the RC strobe that can give you slightly better TTL. Now, before I get into this review, please make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us get this content out there to the people that need it. And if you're looking for a new strobe, well, you're probably one of those people that needs it. Now, I've had the chance to dive with the strobe for the last 2 months. I've dived with it in Southern California. I've dived with it in the Sea of Cortez during one of our underwater photo workshops with sea lions and nudibranchs and blennies. And I'm diving with it here in Washington, and I've actually kind of just kept this strobe with me, and I haven't given it back yet because I do love this strobe. Now, it has all of the same specs as the YS-D3 that you've known and gotten to love. I've got hours of content on the YS-D3, so feel free to cruise through my videos on our channel. Otherwise, I'm just going to go briefly over some of these specs. Now, the YS-D3 was a major upgrade from the YS-D2 and the YS-D1 from CNC because it has lightning quick recycle times. Now, at highest power, it's still a guide number of 33, so you're still going to get great high-level output for both wide-angle and macro photography at the highest end. But as you get lower in your power levels, once you're at half power, the recycle time is 0.6 seconds, which is very quick. And below that, below quarter power, there's virtually no recycle time, which means that you can shoot with your camera as fast as you want if you have a camera that has a flash trigger or a sync cord. And I'm able to shoot with the strobe up to 10 frames a second if I want to, especially at these lower powers. Now, that's a great feature to have if you're a cold water diver or you dive in a lot of dark places where your strobe powers don't need to be quite as high to compete with the ambient light. In those cases, you can shoot at really quick speeds. Now, if you're doing a full dump with the strobe, that recycle time is going to be more like 1.7 seconds, which is about the same as the YS-D2. So at higher powers, this strobe doesn't have too much of a difference from the YS-D2, but at lower powers, it's an extreme difference, and that's why I love it. Now, there are some differences between the YS-D2 and the YS-D3 in terms of your beam quality. It's a little bit cooler. It's got an aspherical toroidal lens, which helps eliminate hot spots, which is also great. And it's got updated circuitry as well. Now, what's different from the YS-D3 are a few key features. The first and most important feature is that there is a new optical sensor on the YS-D3 Duo. It's a lot more sensitive, so sometimes if you turn the strobe on, and it might not do this now, it'll start flashing a lot. Now, there is a safety feature on the strobe to get it to stop flashing. So what I recommend doing before you turn the strobe on, make sure you put your fiber optic cable in the strobe itself or your sync cord on before you turn it on. Now, one of the biggest benefits of this updated optical sensor is that the TTL is going to be slightly more accurate, and you can use the YS-D3 with TTL flash triggers, especially from UW Technics and Turtle. Now, another great thing about the Duo is it is compatible with Nauticam flash triggers, which tend to be not as bright as other flash triggers on the market. So it shouldn't have any problems triggering because of the updated optical sensor. When it comes to the back panel, there have been slight modifications because we have the new RC mode for Olympus shooters. So there are updated dials which are easier to use, and I actually really like using them with gloves on. There is an RC mode which glows red, and the dial switches have been changed a little bit. So you've got a TTL mode, you've got your RC mode, and then you've got your manual mode. It makes it nice, simple, easy to see, and it's got a really nice display on the back. Another cool update with the YS-D3 Duo is the audio ready sound. It's a lot louder on the Duo than it was in the D3 Mark II, and I definitely hear that underwater when I'm shooting. So it's really easy to know when your strobe is ready to fire again at the full dump level that it is. In a nutshell, the RC mode is basically Olympus TTL. I tried using the strobe with an Olympus TG6, which is a very popular camera. I set this camera to RC mode, hooked it up with a fiber optic cable, set the strobe in RC mode, and the results were splendid. Now, I got to borrow these photos from Bill French, who was a diver on my workshop, and he got some spectacular results with this combination. And I do recommend it to any Olympus shooter that's shooting out there and really wants great TTL and wants the strobe to do the work for you. I forgot to mention, for those of you that don't know, TTL is basically automatic strobe exposure. So you can adjust the exposure compensation with minute adjustments using the dial, but overall the strobe is going to choose the output based on your camera settings, and it'll give you the right results for proper exposure so you don't blow out your subject or underexpose it. So those are basically the main upgrades with the YS-D3 Duo. Let's cap this review off with a quick lightning test. I really like to show off just how fast the strobe is when it comes to how fast it can fire. So I'm gonna get this set up and I'll show you exactly how fast the output can be. All right, so don't try this test at home. I never recommend shooting a strobe on rapid fire above water. It's better to have them underwater where all that heat can dissipate. You can see this strobe actually has a gold heat sinking band that really helps with heat dissipation. So that it doesn't blow out or the bulb doesn't explode, but still I don't recommend rapid firing above water. But I do want to show you exactly how fast this strobe can be. Now I've reduced the shutter speed on my camera as far as it can go, so hopefully you'll be able to see the flashes and it doesn't just look like this line with rolling shutter in it. So I'll give it a shot, we'll see how it looks. But here we go, my camera's on burst, this is the R100. Stay tuned for that full review because that's a pretty cool camera. And so you can see even at the fastest speeds with the R100, the strobe can easily keep up. So at lower powers, you're gonna be able to really just rapid fire and do amazing things with the strobe. So after seeing that test, you may be wondering, how many flashes does this strobe last? Well, I can tell you that it uses 4 AA batteries, so they're very easy to find while you're out in the field. I highly recommend Eneloop Pro batteries, which I'm gonna put in the description below so you can buy them from Blue Water. But this strobe lasts 220 flashes at full power. Now, it's very rare that you'll be shooting at full power all the time. You would need a really bright sunny day, shallow conditions, and very clear water, where you would be shooting something like sea lions that don't blow out. Now, if that was the case, it would last you about 1 to 2 dives. In general, typically when I'm diving, this strobe lasts about 4 or 5 dives, or basically a whole day of diving. So you're good for a whole day if you just have your 4 AA's and then I just recharge them overnight, and it works out great. Now, if you have any questions about this strobe or you want to get set up with a special package, we'll actually have some deals on the strobe coming out for Black Friday, so stay tuned for that. Now reach out to us at sales@bluewaterphotostore.com, especially if you'd like a preview on those Black Friday deals. We'd be happy to give them to you early if you email us, especially. And with that, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. You know what to do, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time on our next video.